Keeper of the Lost Cities, Neverseen, Chapter 35. Please give this video a like, and if you're not already following, why not? Is he using the same trick as Gethin? Bianna asked, when Sophie had finished her update. After hours and hours of trying, Mr. Forkle had brought her back to the treehouse to rest. Sophie sighed. I don't know. She wandered to her window, staring at the dark forest. She still had no idea what time it was. It didn't matter. It was too late. Mr. Forkle and Granite tried to check, she whispered, since they'd both been in Gethin's mind and knew how it felt, but neither of them could last longer than a few seconds. They said Prentice's mind felt like being thrown into a pit of boiling tar. I've never heard of anything like that before, Della said, appearing in the doorway. Neither have I. And it made Sophie want to kick things. She knew so little about her purpose. But one fact had been made perfectly clear. The Black Swan designed her to heal minds. And yet the one person who'd counted on that ability more than anyone else was lying on a cot in a small stone house, and she couldn't do a single thing to help him. Prentice's mind felt like the darkness had somehow taken over, she whispered. And what I don't understand is what changed. The last time I read his mind, it was a cage of nightmares. But he was there. He gave me a vision of Jolie and told me how to escape. But you said he was drugged today, right? Bianna asked. Maybe he's still sedated? Drugs rarely have an effect on a broken mind, Della said. The sadness in her voice made it clear she was reliving the days she'd spent holding Alden's thrashing body down, while Elwyn struggled to keep him sedated. Unless what? Della and Bianna both asked, making Sophie realize she'd spoken out loud. What if Dame Elena did something? She whispered. We all saw him yesterday, and he wasn't catatonic like this. Tarek even called for backup because he needed someone to calm Prentice for transport. But what could she have done? Bianna asked. I don't know, Sophie admitted. I know nothing about beguilers. Neither do I, Bianna said. The bigger question Sophie had was, why? Why would Dame Elena risk harming her own sanity by hurting Prentice? What's wrong? Bianna asked her mom. Della shook her head and wiped her eyes. I'm just glad Alden isn't here to hear this. Bianna covered her mouth. You don't think he's going to? No, Della said, rushing over to hug her daughter. Your father is strong. He won't let this break him again. Bianna's eyes welled with tears anyway. Sophie's burned as well. If it helps, she said, trying to convince them as much as herself. The collective thinks we just need to give Prentice time. He's been surrounded by so much misery and exile, he might have retreated to protect himself. So now that he's free, we can surround him with happier things to draw him back out. Plus, Fitz and I haven't tried working as cognates together yet. That's true, Della said, clearing thickness from her throat. We all have to remember. Prentice has only been free for a few hours. We need to be patient. I'm tired of being patient, Bianna said. Sophie was too. Della hugged them both. It's late, she said. We should all get some sleep so we're ready for whatever the Black Swan needs tomorrow. Sophie tried to take Della's advice, but her head was too full of questions. She stayed up reading, scouring the telepathy books the Black Swan had given her, hoping to find some clue that might explain what was happening. I feared I might find you like this, Mr. Forkle said from her doorway. Sophie jumped so hard she knocked the books off her lap. Any news, she said, sitting on her hands to stop from reaching for her eyelashes. No change, but we're counting that as a good thing. At least he's not getting worse. He crossed her room and pulled open her drapes, staring out the window. It was brighter outside than Sophie had expected it to be. Caring for Prentice is going to be far more time-consuming than we'd originally planned, he said, especially since Calla and the other gnomes have yet to return. Do not let that trouble you, he added quickly. Calla warned us it might take several days for her search, but the fact the plague keeps spreading proves we should be doing more to investigate. We've been pinning so many hopes on Prentice that it's made us short-sighted. So, I brought your request to the collective, and we've reached a decision. He turned back to face her, and she could see the worry in his eyes as he said, "We've agreed that the 5 of you should attend Exilium." Sophie nodded, her voice momentarily abandoning her. "Exilium is on the front line of the plague," he told her. "You're right to be nervous, and their program is far more rigorous than anything you've experienced, but we have no doubt that you and your friends can handle it. You've proven time and time again that you are both resourceful and brave. Still, you will need to prepare, and we'll have to wait until Mr. Vacker is fully recovered. You also must secure your cache in the void." "The void?" Sophie asked. "It's a confusing process," Miss Forkle admitted, "but I've brought a conjurer to guide you through. She's waiting for you in the main room." Sophie dressed quickly, expecting to find another elf in a crazy disguise. Instead, she found an achingly familiar figure in a simple blue gown waiting for her by the waterfall. "Adeline?"